Hey everybody, this is episode 2 of Island 543. I'm Sam. I'm here with Jayson and Nick. Let's get episodes 2 started. All right, Jayson, what's the sport of the day?
Alrighty, here's our sport of the day. All right, it looks like we're rowing tonight.
I don't
Rowing
believe you,
through
Jayson.
whatever
Can we
you
boo
want.
a sport of the day? Can we
Boo.
boo the topic?
I know it's a rough topic, but there's a total of 44 options. Now we're down. We're gonna have 42 options next episode. Uh, but yeah, let's start it off. What do you guys know about rowing? And have you ever done rowing before?
The only instance I can recall ever watching rowing was it the Social Network movie when the Winklevoss twins were rowing people. That's about it.
I didn't even think of that. That's true. I actually watched that movie too, and I did see that.
I think that's the only time I've ever seen rowing.
I forgot about that movie.
It's pretty
It's a
good.
good movie. It's a good movie.
I don't like the guy who plays
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg. The guy who played Zuckerberg did
Jesse
it pretty
Eisenberg.
well. Jesse Eisenberg.
I like him a lot. I wouldn't say big fan, but I mean, I liked a lot of stuff he's in.
That's true. He does make some he does make some good movies like Zombieland and.
Yeah, I was thinking Zombieland specifically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, back on topic of rowing. Apparently, Sarasota is really big into rowing. My grandparents live there, and they live right next to like an Olympic national training facility of rowing. I'll have to show a picture, but they just built a new building for them, and it's on like a nice lake. It's pretty interesting, pretty cool looking.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, guys. Kind of a little lost there. Sam, I have no idea where that is. Nick, I don't think I've seen that movie. Anyway,
None of that is shocking.
moving on. So I just wanted to mention that rowing became an official sport in 1828, and it was the first. It was the first college sport. First competition was held between Harvard and Yale in 1858, and there's an annual meeting every year, annual competition. One more fun fact I'm going to throw out there. It says here that rowing can be for anyone of any age. And in 2012, a 93-year-old of Switzerland won a gold medal in the World Rowing Masters Regatta.
If you're a competition named Regatta, you're pretty high class. That's like,
yeah, so that sounds pretty cool.
I won a regatta. That even sounds prestigious.
Nick, I'm surprised you never rowed before. I don't know why. You just like not
So
even.
I look up strong.
I think Nick would be actually really good because you're supposed like it's all legs and like if you have a big body, like those are the type of people who have like success, like the lengthy people. So because it's like mostly with your legs. So if you have more reach, like the more you can pull. I know that just from because I have a rowing machine at my house that I'll do sometimes.
So you row, Sam.
Well, I mean, but it's a machine.
That doesn't count.
It's
I've
not
rowed
on
at the
water.
gym
I've
too.
never been in a water raft or whatever. I don't know what do they call it? A rowboat?
We have to plan a trip and we have to go rowing now. That's what we have to do now.
Yes.
I've actually been on a rowboat before.
I was say I'm sure Jayson has. Jayson, you've done like triathlons and stuff, so I mean, you and water can't be far off.
Yeah, I used to go to Catalina quite often, and I get in one of those little rowboats and kind of just tour the island. Actually, I'll share this story. So my dad loves telling this story to his friends. When I was trying to be a professional triathlete, I would have my parents sit in the rowboat, and they would be like drinking beers or doing whatever, and I'd tie a rope around my waist and I just swim. And I just swim all around Catalina, just harbor to harbor, and literally like sometimes up to like half a mile to the harbor or to like where the actual boats drop off the ferry, and then back to go get like some groceries or something. And I just tow them by swimming around. So that's not rowing; it's swimming, but it was a rowboat.
There's a rowboat. That's more experience than me and Sam combined.
That's true. Now that you mentioned that, I do remember it was like I think it was like in 7th grade. I took some like rowboat / sailing class for a week, and I was partnered up with some other kid. We were given like a rowboat with a broken paddle, we ended up we were because the paddle was like broken off the boat, and we were moving so slow that they actually had to come by a motorboat because we were so far behind and tow us all the way to the front because we were so slow and behind because of that broken paddle. It was
That's
actually pretty
hilarious.
fun. It was
Amazing.
it was funny. Good memory.
Alrighty, moving on to quick sports news. We're gonna make this quick this time. But Nick, start us off. NBA championships.
The Golden State Warriors won their 4th championship in 8 years. Steph finally locked it in and got an MVP. Didn't get robbed by Iguodala this time. Even though I could make a good argument that Andrew Wiggins had a good story to be MVP and just keep the Steph MVP list. A lot of barbershop talk now about Steph being top 10. So it was pretty good. I think Draymond was shit talking people as usual as the parade. So normal Golden State Warriors shenanigans. You expect nothing less from them. Draymond talking ish, the media hyping up Steph to Olympic heights. So, but yeah, so congrats to the Warriors. It's gonna be a good off season. Already started some trades this off season. So starting NBA season year round is always amazing.
And quickly to Major League Baseball. The Angels game just wrapped up, but Shohei Ohtani has been on fire. Even though the Angels as a whole have been ice cold. Ohtani last night was 3 for 4 with 2 home runs and a career high 8 RBIs, which is crazy. Then tonight he goes 8 innings pitched with 13 strikeouts, 2 runs, and 0 earned runs. So that's just some MVP stats right there. That's absolutely crazy. AL East still tight as heck. The Red Sox are winning over 70% of their games, and are still 12 and a half games behind the Yankees. That's just crazy. Dodgers doing well. Sam and I went to the Dodgers Angels game. Went to go visit Nick for a bit. Dodgers swept the Angels, of course, and almost no hit the Angels. Luckily, Ohtani got that triple in the 9th inning, saved them from embarrassment, saved them from the history books. So thank you, Ohtani, for helping me out there and helping out my own resume as well as the Angels fandom. I think that's all I have for tonight.
That was good, and that was the first place we got to test out the mini mic too.
Oh,
which
right.
is a popular segment on our Instagram channel. If you haven't already, go subscribe. Island543 podcast on Instagram.
Sam,
yeah.
you've been surprising me with that mini mic. At first, I was like, "What is this guy doing?" But now we're actually getting like a ton of views on on social media.
Whatever Sam's doing on social media is amazing. My coworker came up to me like, "Nick, I saw you on your podcast." I was like, "How? How did you see me on my podcast?" So Sam, keep it up. You're a marketing genius.
That's great to hear.
You also posted some Yankee favoritism, which I didn't appreciate.
I did that to rile up Jayson specifically.
He posted a quote from Manny Ramirez saying, "If Derek Jeter was on any other team, he would be just an average baseball player." And like, there are some people like stirring it up in the comments, and then I was in the comments too, and they're like, "Name something better that another player is better than Derek Jeter or something, then we can debate." And then I'm like, Manny Ramirez, literally the guy who said that thing about him. And I go and I look up some stats, almost has exact same stats as Derek Jeter. So Manny Ramirez and Derek Jeter are mirroring each other, plate appearances, batting average. However, Derek Jeter has 3 more years than Manny Ramirez. But Manny Ramirez also has 250 more home runs and 500 more RBIs. That's crazy.
What doesn't he have more than Derek Jeter?
Derek Jeter, man, he's okay, fine.
Alrighty.
Okay. Well, that's what money can buy you when you're
Hey,
fan
I
base,
mean, it hasn't
the
bought them
Lincoln fan
that
base.
in 13 years now. So it depends. It's funny. I was having this conversation earlier because me and one of my text groups, we talk about like the NBA goats, and we got tired of it because none of us ever agree, obviously. So we tried to go to different sports, and they brought up baseball. And one of them just like, I don't think winning counts as much. And I was like, who would you put on your Mount Rushmore? Ken Griffey Jr. or Derek Jeter? and they agree obviously that Griffey's the better player, but the goal of sports is to win. And being a leader and winning a lot is very important. And I feel like people did try to discount that. Like when people try to like discount winning or change it, I just think it's funny because, like you said, Manny Ramirez probably has way better numbers, but you can be Mike Trout and be amazing and be talent-wise one of the greatest baseball players ever, or you can have rings. And I feel like I always err on the side of rings.
That's actually a great point. Because there is something about people who can win that just makes them that much like I don't know
Like
if it's
Tom Brady. Tom Brady's not
yeah,
blowing you out of the water with his skill, like his like IQ, yes, but not like his actual arm talent or anything like that. But you can have
it's all
freakish arm talent and no rings, or you can be Tom Brady and have all the rings.
and I think partially for him and too, it's his competitiveness is like off the charts. Like he's so competitive, and that's also what makes him so great. Is like he keeps pushing himself, and he goes so like he takes it so much further than other people. And I think so, Nick. I do think you're right that there are people who are just winners, like, and there are people who are losers, like Philip Rivers. And
Nice
that was
dig,
random,
nice
but
dig,
it's so
nice dig.
true.
Nice dig.
Yeah. So
That was a good tangent. Oh, I'm sure we'll have a Hall of Fame and Mount Rushmore debate at some point. We'll talk about that. We won't have to do a GOAT list, but we could talk. Like Jayson, how do you feel? Like, what's your Mount Rushmore of baseball? And more specifically, how do you feel about Trout and his postseason disappointments?
Trout's only been to the postseason. Like he has, I know for a fact he hasn't won any postseason games. I believe they went to the postseason in 2013, or maybe it was 2014, and got swept. And then I think they went to the postseason prior in his first year in 2010, and also got swept.
So I don't think it's like hard to say that Trout's talent-wise the best baseball player in the league right now, like easily.
Many people think that Trout is the best player in baseball history.
But I don't know, man. If you don't have a single playoff win, let alone a series, we don't even have to go that far for a series. Just you don't have a playoff win.
Yeah,
that you just can't you can't be the best. Like in that sense, you just can't be the best to me.
Hey, Mookie was the same way. Mookie was on the Red Sox from 2014 to 2018 or 2020.
Well, yeah, 2020.
Up to 2018, he had no World Series, or I'm sorry, he had no postseason championships. Or no, I'm sorry, he had no postseason wins. And everyone was like, "Oh, Mookie's never going to be great. Oh, like he's only good during the only good during the regular season." And then even in the postseason, he wasn't playing that well either.
Yeah.
But still, he managed to come up clutch a handful of times in the World Series in 2018 against the Dodgers.
And then with the Dodgers.
And with the Dodgers, he's also kicking butt right now as well.
Yeah, I mean, offensively, at least during the postseason, I don't think he was that amazing. At least compared to Seager, because Seager was tearing it up when the Dodgers won the World Series. But
yeah,
I enjoyed the Mookie defensive highlights more than I enjoyed the offensive Seager highlights. Like just seeing Mookie making those catches, definitely crazy. But I mean, look, that's 3 seasons. Like his whole career was like written, and then 3 seasons, 2 World Series appearances, 2 wins.
You're making the point about defense though, and what I've learned from Moneyball is defense doesn't win championships in baseball.
That's fair.
And bad defense and good offense in baseball will give you a lot of runs and have very few runs scored against you. Because if you have some average baseball players, they'll make the ground ball plays. They'll make the pop fly catches. They'll drop every once in a while, like those little hoppers or something, and mess up. Those will give you like those runs. But if you have just the best bats in baseball, that will give you the championship. And that's what the Oakland A's and that's what the Tampa Bay Rays look for prospects. They don't look for the fancy gloves. They look for the golden bats.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you're right. I mean, there's a smaller chance of error on defense. Like, you won't make an amazing catch, but like those pop flies, grounders, most of that stuff, it's really hard as a professional to mess up. But yeah, but I mean, if you have bad offense, you're just not getting on base, can't score runs. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But so where do you put Mike Trout?
Where do I put Mike Trout?
Hmm.
If we're saying a Mount Rushmore, so top 4.
Does he make it? I guess is really the question.
Okay.
I'll
I'll tell you this: David Ortiz is on there, 100%. You know his batting average is 688 in the postseason. 688, 3 World Series championships. This guy is the biggest guy, like the fattest person on any baseball team, and just cranking home runs.
I mean, that's all he had to do. That's all he had to focus on. But yeah, but I mean, like that's I think that's like at least I'm not sure if we had like a real topic today past like our intros, but what makes the GOAT? What makes your Mount Rushmore? What do you value more? Because I mean, AD was considered one of the greatest defensive players for football. Aaron Donald was considered one of the greatest defensive players ever, let alone just one of the greatest football players ever, and he just solidifies that with a ring.
I'll agree with you on that. It's what makes the Mount Rushmore, what makes the greatest players of all time is really just greatness, like overall success, not being like good on the field. Because so I will not say Mike Trout, unfortunately, but I will say David Ortiz.
Of course you will.
I mean, I agree. Like it's greatness personified. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for winners. Like Tom Brady's not the most amazing quarterback talent wise. Like you probably take Manning over him. You take Mahomes over him, but those guys don't get it done enough. Like,
but Brady would make the Mount Rushmore.
Oh, you know, yeah, he's Brady is hands down the greatest football player to ever play the game of football.
Yeah.
No one has won as much. Like it's crazy to see what he has done in sports in general. He's won rings in 3 different decades now?
I think so.
Yep.
No one wins championships in 3 different decades. You're never that relevant that long. Like I'm not a big. I mean, I love Brady. Once he went to Tampa, I loved Brady. Tampa Bay, loved all of it. Once he got out of that Boston stranglehold and was able to like show himself and his personality, I've loved everything Tom's done. But it's like it's hard to argue. Like it's like greatness just shows itself. Like I think football's probably the one thing we can all like probably mutually talk about because I know Jayson basketball is not the strong suit, and I really can't argue baseball. But at least for football, like winners win. Deion Sanders is a winner. Tom Brady is a winner. You can go. Jerry Rice is a winner. You can, and then I have LT or Aaron Donald as the last slot. But these dudes are all winners. Like you can't be great and not win, in my eyes. And I mean, they say rings is like a team sport, but I don't know. Winners, great, get it done. And I think that's like, I mean, you get penalized for that at that point. Like, I mean, Aaron Rodgers is more talented than Tom Brady. You can't have one Super Bowl appearance. And like I said, I think that shows, like I said, Mike Trout's amazing talent. I wouldn't argue talent-wise that you're going to take him over everybody.
Can you make your Mount Rushmore right now with the NBA?
Current or ever?
Ever.
Well, I mean, I'll give you my top 4. I have Kobe, MJ, LeBron, and Magic Johnson. And I usually don't argue top 3. As long as you have Kobe, MJ, and Bron in your top 3, whoever you pick as your first really doesn't like. That's never gonna like. I'm not gonna disagree with you. Like some of these players, they're some of the greatest players, some of the competitors ever.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like I said, this week's question really was like people started putting Steph in top 10, and I think that's ridiculous. Like you can have him out like 11 to 15. Yes, he should be there, but I don't think he's better than KD, and I have KD as 10. So, like, I don't like the media is just eating up Steph finally winning an MVP. And I don't know. It's crazy to think that people have him in his top 10.
Do you think that he could, like 10 years down the road? Like,
I don't think he can crack top 4. Top 10, I definitely think he can crack it. I mean, if he goes, he can win an MVP next year. He can win another finals. Because I think, I mean, outside of Lakers' health in the West, I mean, Golden State probably primed to repeat again. I mean, Draymond's not going to be Draymond again. Clay is he's going to be second year back removed from the Achilles tear. Poole's amazing. I'm not sure what they're gonna do with Wiggins, but Wiggins was a walking double-double in the finals. He led them in scoring in game 5, which is pivotal. Steph doesn't make a 3-point, and you still win the game. And Andrew Wiggins is pivotal to that. So I can see them repeating again. The Golden State's really solid. I mean, Steph is a generational talent. I will give him that all the time. Greatest shooter to ever play the game. I just currently have him 11. I think he's just not he's not better than KD to me. Like if even right now you're not taking Steph as the number 1 player in the league, like you're taking KD, you're probably taking Giannis. and it's not against him. Like I said, I mean, 11th's not bad, and like I said, if he wins more, he can do a 10th. But your story means a lot, and like Iguodala snagging the MVP from him in the finals is rough because people will always go back to that. And then KD comes into your team, takes over, and is the lead dog. And I mean, you can make, like I said, this is where the conversation is. You can make argument, but I think you need a KD to get past Cleveland. I think LeBron and Kyrie would have beat you again in the finals if you didn't, if you even got past KD, because I think KD should have won the year the Warriors had was it the most wins in the regular season. I thought the Thunder were the better team. I thought Thunder should have won that year completely, even beat the Cavs. Average points, killer, Kobe, killer, buzzer beaters, the drop 60, drop 81. Like it's a combination of things, but like chips, your skill level, your intensity, your competition, like you're talking about with Brady, like there's not bigger competitors than Kobe and MJ in any sport. The crazy stories people tell about Kobe. Remember D-Wade told some story about like breaking Kobe's nose and he said he loved it. Like that's crazy. Like you're programmed that way. It's not normal.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you have such amazing players, and I kick a lot of players before the 80s out. Like I don't have Oscar Robinson, I don't have Bill Russell, don't have Wilt. I don't have them in my top 10. I think the league's just like there's a big jump from when they were in the league to like Magic and Bird and Kareem were in the league. Maybe not so much Kareem, but like there's a big in the 80s. There was a big shift. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm not sure who you kick out. And if you put any of those 3-4 guys in your top 10, like I don't see how you can fit Steph in.
I did some thinking, and at the top of my head, without looking at numbers, I'm gonna go with my top 4. I'm gonna put Ortiz at number 4 because of his postseason success and impact on teams. Number 3, I want to say Randy Johnson. He's a little older, and he might not be at the top of the list for a lot of other people, but I just think that he was just dominant on the mound, especially like primetime Randy Johnson is scary. And I mean, he was able to stop the Yankees while playing on the brand new Arizona Diamondbacks to win a World Series. And then I don't know, I just loved how dominant and how confident he was. Number 2 would be Pedro Martinez. There might be a little bit of Red Sox bias in that. But he also played on the Phillies and won a World Series with the Phillies and with the Red Sox. And he's just another dominant player. He's also a little guy and been just able to be always dominant with the lowest numbers of ERA and the highest numbers of strikeouts. There was a time where he was playing against the Yankees, who everyone was saying is the most dominant Yankee team of all time. And then I think he got like 21 strikeouts in a game, which is...
And then maybe Terry Bradshaw, Steeler guy. So those are my guys for quarterbacks. I was just going to share real quick the NFL news. It was something that was interesting that I saw was that Bart Scott told everybody on the internet basically that he'd much rather go against Tom Brady every day of the week than going against Peyton Manning. And it was because he said that, and he felt like this was how everybody in the NFL would feel like, because he was saying studying for Peyton Manning was like studying for the SATs. If he's talking about SATs, I totally understand that. I hated SATs. I hated the ACT. Did terrible at both of them, so I automatically understood what he was talking about, even though I've never played Peyton Manning in my life. I totally understand where he's coming from. I guess the other news, real quick, we could go over was that Cooper Kupp got paid $90 million or over $100 million. Donald got paid, I think, $200 million. I saw there was a rumor Browns are willing to eat half of Baker Mayfield's 2020 salary, which was roughly $9 million, and possibly trade him to the Panthers. It was a rumor. And then last one, Rob Gronkowski just announced, I think Tuesday, that he's retiring from the NFL.
Man, I'm telling you, I think we talked about this, but man, I love baseball and football offseason. Like they just traded Jeremy Grant. Blazers are making a move to beef up Damian Lillard. So pretty excited to see the moves. And then however they're going to deal with Russell Westbrook or whatever the Lakers are doing is going to be crazy to see. I know Miami's going to make a move in this offseason. So basketball offseason is just started today with Jeremy Grant and them trading him. Baseball's still in season, Jayson, but what do you like? What moves do you want? Because I know like the Dodgers just picked up Trace to cover Mookie for a little bit. What other trades do you see happening for the league?
Well, let's see. There's I'm telling you that the AL East will need to make some trades to compete with the Yankees because the AL East is fighting for wild card slots. That being the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox, both 12 and 12 and a half games behind the Yankees. And they're hot teams. Like I said earlier, Red Sox winning 70% of their games. So both of those will have to make some trades because you're just going to have to be stacked up against this stacked up Yankees team when postseason comes along. Because you want to be as prepared as you can. Maybe get lucky against the Yankees when postseason comes along. I also hate to say it. Angels got to make some big rebuilding moves, and I know people have been saying it for years, but I think trading Trout might be an option.
You have to. Didn't Rendon just get injured too?
Rendon's gone, and that was a 200-something million deal. And yeah, he's just been a letdown. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. And Trout and Ohtani are the face of the Angels. Ohtani is he's gonna be a free agent. If it's not this year, I think it's the next year. I would rather save the money for Ohtani, trade Trout, get some good prospects, get some good like actual team, a real bullpen, and build around Ohtani because I think Ohtani has a bright future with generational talent.
Also can pitch on both sides. You can do both sides of the ball, which Trout can't do.
Exactly. Ohtani is just such a game changer. Literally having a pitcher being able to hit 2 home runs in a game, insane. So build off of that. Like I said, offense wins baseball games, not defense. Trout can jump over the outfield wall. I know it'll save a run or so. A couple. MLB pitcher Ray Caldwell was 1 batter away from pitching a no-hitter when he was knocked unconscious. When he woke up 5 minutes later, he got up and finished pitching the no-hitter. What caused Caldwell to go unconscious? A, he lost an eyeball. B, he was struck by lightning. C, he passed a kidney stone. Or D, he had a heart attack.
I got my answer. I think I'm gonna go with C. He passed a kidney stone.
That's a good one. I'm gonna go. He got struck by lightning because the eyeball one I don't think could happen.
He got struck by lightning.
Yes, yes.
That's fucking crazy.
Let's go.
Okay, so just to say the recap, so Ray Caldwell in 1920 was pitching for the Cleveland Indians. He was 1 batter away from pitching the no-hitter when a lightning storm started, and there are mixed stories. Some say that the lightning hit him directly on the head. Some stories say that it ricocheted off of the press box and then hit him. Either way, all reports say that he was knocked unconscious on the pitcher's mound, and his players surrounded him and performed CPR or whatever it was back then. And when he woke up, he immediately stood up, looked at the catcher, and said, "Give me the ball." He immediately struck out the next pitcher to complete the no-hitter.
Wow. That's crazy. I can go next. My question involves golf. Here's a question. Tiger Woods made his first hole-in-one at what age? A, 8. B, 17. C, 25. D, 40.
I'm gonna go 8.
I'm going to go 8 as well.
That is correct. You guys got his first hole-in-one at 8 years old.
I saw a video. I think it was like 2 years old, and he was hitting putts, making it every time. Super old video.
Okay, my question. Just because Steph Curry got his first MVP, Finals MVP this past week, my question is, how many players that were drafted before Steph Curry have NBA championships? A, 1, B, 2, 3, 4. 3 is number 4, and then 4 is going to be 5.
I wish I knew who was in his draft class. I'm gonna go with 2.
I'm gonna throw it out there and say 3.
I definitely botched the question because it's 0, but it's 0. But you guys wouldn't have guessed that, so it's okay.
It's not even a question.
There were 6 people drafted in front of him, and none of them have rings, is what I was going to get at. So,
Well, you should have said 0 as an option.
yeah. It's late. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
How do we get points then?
No point. We didn't get the question right.
Are you kidding me?
It was a trick question.
This is the game where all the rules are made up and points don't matter.
What should we talk about next? Should I talk about how Sam and I almost died?
No. All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to Island 543. If you haven't already, go check out our Instagram and Twitter at Island 543 podcast. I believe Twitter is Island 543 pod. Go check us out. Go follow us. Make sure you subscribe and go.
Send in questions. I'm horrible at them.
Yes, send questions and rate our podcast now on Apple Podcasts. Thanks, everybody.
See ya.